Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. I've been telling you for a number of days that we're going to be warming up as we come into the weekend here in British Columbia, and oh, how right I seem to be. The forecast modeling changes are indicating that we're getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter this weekend throughout BC, most especially down south, but now it seems like they're going to share some of that joy up to the north as well. Good news, I guess, that will dry things out and maybe help some of the fires that may be hiding out there after last week's thunderstorms down south into the Monashees and whatnot and Columbias and places like that. We may see a few of those fires start to show themselves, so there is that, but all in all, we're looking at a really nice weekend ahead for us, friends. Okay, let's go.
There it is. Oh my God. I didn't think it happened. Get on! Wow.
I'll watch the video later. Oh yeah, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, share, and subscribe, that helps me more than anything, I tell you, my friends. Let's get on with the stories now. So let's start with the 500 millibar animation. Shown here in isotax knots. What is the 500 millibar? The height? Well, that's where the pressure is at 500 millibars. We're talking up. We're talking about 17,000, 20,000 feet, something like that. The jet stream, where it tends to 15, 20,000 feet, kind of goes up and down a little bit. That's our jet stream. It's the weather delivery method that we have here on planet Earth, these jet streams. As you can see, the weather delivery method makes for a storm there next week in Ontario, but we are benefiting. Look at this. Look at this again. So here we are, kind of in this flow from the north still, waiting for a high pressure to establish itself. Here's our high pressure. Here comes the ridge into the weekend there, pushing up further north. I think it might even go a little further north than that. So we're seeing that. A week low after that, sure, but looks like we're coming into fairly stable weather for a while still, temperature-wise. We do want to be on the south side of that jet stream. Pacific Northwest heat wave starts this weekend, says Mark Ingles at ingleswx.com. Our good friend here, you can probably see him. I think he's going to be on the podcast tomorrow night with us here on the channel. 6:30 p.m. start time, Thursday nights. A strong upper level ridge is forecast to slide over the Pacific Northwest this weekend. The warmest temperatures so far this year are forecast for many areas with highs above 90 for Portland and possibly above 100 in the Tri-Cities. That's 38 Celsius. Some morning clouds are possible west of the Cascades in the lead up to this system, but in general, mostly sunny skies are expected. Portland's low cloud were able to produce some strong drizzle this morning despite there being no regional storm present. And we're seeing that even today. We're seeing the cumulus clouds getting taller and taller around Wells. And I don't think it's out of the question that we could see, well, a few raindrops in the mountainside here in the East Caribou. Could see a flash of lightning or two today, I think, this afternoon. There's still time for that. I don't know if the instability is present enough, but the heat seems to be driving convection. It's very much happening outside, and towering cumulus, more so than I expected to see on Wednesday, is going on right now. So back to what Mark's saying there. The heat wave forecast to be strongest Sunday for Vancouver, Seattle, and Portland. The northern BC interior will peak Sunday. There'll be a day delay for Columbia Basin and BC Okanagan. Temperatures to begin moderating on Monday in the north and west of the Cascades as a shortwave trough brings in cooler weather. While widespread rain is not likely, the shortwave may have enough energy to produce scattered thunderstorms in the Oregon High Desert and central Idaho Monday and Tuesday afternoon. Columbia Basin, BC Okanagan begin to cool Tuesday, but temperatures remain warm as noted. This will bring the warmest temperatures so far this year to the Pacific Northwest. Let's hear what else my close friend Mark is saying. On top of Portland and the Tri-Cities getting especially warm, Kelowna and Spokane will approach 35. Temperatures will be cooler close to the Pacific in the mountains and to the north. They'll be moderated there. Seattle will see a high of 85 only. Vancouver maybe as well. Areas away from the water will be warmer though. Okay, the forecast shows the first 100 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius, comes early based on climatology for the Tri-Cities, but is within what I would call reasonable realm of possibilities. It's not shocking. We are now in meteorological summer, so I feel like we are getting closer and closer to the time where seeing really hot temperatures isn't out of the ordinary necessarily. In 2021, the Tri-Cities reached 100 Fahrenheit on June 2nd. Well, that was a bad news fire season, though, so I don't know how this will bode for us in the weeks ahead. Similarly, early events occurred in 2016 and 2015. Portland and Kelowna have a chance of breaking their daily record high for Sunday. Both locations are forecast to be near 95, 35C. The record high for Portland on June 8 is 94. Kelowna, the record is 35.1, 95.2 Fahrenheit. For those choosing to beat the heat by the water, remember the area rivers and lakes remain chilly. Also, a lot of places the water is high. Be careful. The water temperature at Ice Harbor Dam in the Snake River near Pasco was recorded at 58.14 on Tuesday. It's cold enough to risk deaths from hypothermia. Just to give you a little idea, low snowpack persists across the province, right? We have some high water in the Caribous, Kootenays, Monashees, and up north there a little bit, right? So there's higher than normal stream flow because of warm weather. I think that will return this weekend. That'll encourage melting to go even faster. A mix of warm temperatures last weekend and Sunday brought localized minor flooding. In fact, it was crazy how fast the water levels all came up before last weekend, right? So Upper Columbia, Upper Fraser, West Kootenay rivers are expected to stabilize this next week due to drier weather and cooler temps, although I think we'll probably see with the heat some of that come up a little bit. So just keep in mind, this is a couple days old, but it gives us sort of an idea as to where we're going at with stream flow. There are currently no high stream flow advisories or flood watches or flood warnings, and I don't think we'll see a whole lot of that, but that doesn't mean the water isn't moving fast and can't sweep you away. And 2 people died in a lake this weekend in BC, and I think people kind of like forget that the water is cold, like Mark says. You go in the water because it's hot out. You jump in the water, it's cold, and you get you find yourself unable to move. You can't swim. You can't. Your body tenses up, right, in reaction to the cold water sometimes, or exhausts itself very quickly. So 2 people drowned in the lake this weekend. I don't really have any details on that, but I do want to say everyone's worried about bears, and it's like once every 3 years a bear kills someone in Canada. But on average, like 75 people drown in the lakes and rivers in BC every year. It's one of the most common, then there's avalanches and you can be struck by lightning. There's so many ways to die in the wilderness, but everyone's worried about the bear. Everyone's worried about the bear, and I reject that thinking. Well, let's run through temperature expectations over the next number of days and see where they go. Look how hot it is out east. That's crazy. I didn't realize it was going to get that hot for them. You can really see that. Looks like it's getting hot everywhere, though. Holy cow. Prairies are starting to heat back up again. The north, all the way up into Alaska, starting to heat up. We're going to see some of those fires start to get more and more active in this warmth. More and more active. Look at that. Very warm on Thursday up in the far north. Warm across Saskatchewan. Just a little bit cooler in Manitoba. Maybe that'll be a little bit helpful for their fires. A little bit of coolness. It's like, man, we're just looking for any kind of hope right now, right? Any kind of hope for them. So, I mean, that's why I make statements like that sometimes. Hot across Canada as we come into Friday. Very hot. BC getting hot, getting very warm, except for like the far north, sure. But look, Saturday, we're getting into hot across Western Canada. Fire activity is going to pick up. It's going to trend more and more aggressively as we come into this pattern. And you can see Sunday is the hottest for BC, all the way up into northern BC. Going to see some really hot temperatures. We'll have a look here in a minute exactly how hot, but you can see what's going on. It's hot across the board. It's hot in North America. It's been hot in North America already since March down in the south, but we're seeing that keeps climbing north. And I had a feeling that that was indicative of what kind of summer we were going to see across Canada. Still Monday, looking pretty hot there in this modeling. So we'll see when Mark's trough shows up, if it does in this modeling. I mean, I think that things are changing right now, forecast-wise. This is all sort of new to me. This looks warmer than what Mark was saying in his blog already. That's kind of a cool down, maybe, but that's already a week out and plus. So, what can we take from this? The fact that since I looked at models yesterday, there's changes. Since I looked at models 2 days ago, there's changes. I did mention to you how the high pressure and this big low that was hammering up near Valdez a couple days ago, I mentioned that those two are in competition, and we could see change based on who wins. And I feel like we are seeing that. We're seeing that high pressure starting to win that battle. starting to win that battle. So we're coming into the warm weather, friends. We're coming into active fire weather. Could we see a few of these showers produce lightning this afternoon in the BC interior? Yeah, it's entirely possible. Up into the 20s up north, 22 in Fort Nelson. It's as warm up there as Vernon. Figure that. Lightning in Alberta, some lightning in the Saskatchewan side. New fire starts possible here on Wednesday. But we're going to start to see that work itself out. It's basically some lingering nonsense. Here's that low up there we've been talking about. It's been fighting. It's fighting a lot, trying to get inland, trying to do something. And here's our high pressure fighting against it. So what happens is a little bit of rain is going to make its way into the BC interior. And then the high is going to just go bloop and reorganize itself, re-strengthen, re-energize, and it's going to keep that overall rainy pattern from having too much effect. But you can see here on Thursday, a little bit of rain. Could we see thunderstorms start to come with this? They don't seem to think so, but I don't think it's out of the question with the heat pushing in down south, although, again, we don't have any lightning expected here. I don't think it's out of the question we could see on some of these flanks some lightning again. The skies just tell me that today. That's why I say that. I'm looking at the clouds this afternoon and look at what they're saying. And to me, they're saying that there's a little more risk than maybe we thought. But they're also saying to me that this is coming. I can tell there's a bit of a weird change. Like, there's precip coming on through. So it's going to linger around there for a bit of Thursday in the Caribou, Prince George regions, the north end of the Caribou, into the mountains here, down towards McBride, maybe even a little bit in the mountains into Friday. We can see a new strong low has organized itself up north. So this is where our low has tried to take off to, and another one's going to fill its hole. This is going to increase the winds into Saskatchewan. It's going to bring the temperatures back up. It's going to bring lightning activity back up. That's a whole other discussion, okay? And I'm not happy about it. I don't have good news for the fires there. I don't have good news at all. So warm on Friday in BC. And we're seeing that low kind of going where the last one did, and it's going to pick up wind conditions again, and it's going to make for erratic fire behavior when it did. But I'm not here to talk about them this time, although obviously there's a lot to talk about because we're going to see returns of erratic weather for them. So looking at ECMWF forecast for this weekend in BC, we're just going to stick to BC on out now and try to get a handle on some of these temperatures. But at 5 in the afternoon, looks like we're in the high 20s all throughout southern BC according to ECMWF. I think we might see this bump up a little bit more. We'll have to see. But on Sunday, there we go. Sunday, we're talking real hot. Here we are at 4 in the afternoon, 33 Kelowna, 32 Kamloops. So I would think these are the minimum highs that will probably go over that, like Mark says. 29 in Williams Lake, 28 in Quesnel, 27 Prince George. This is bad news for the fire weather for northern British Columbia, Fort St. John, seeing stronger winds and seeing high temps as well. So Sunday, circle Sunday on the calendar for fire activity. Anywhere there might be a fire going on, it's not looking good. It's not looking very good. Now, what do we come to on Monday according to ECMWF? They still have Kelowna at 35, so they're going to disagree with Mark a little bit. And like I say, I think models are in change right now. So like whatever I say here may in 12 hours look different on the maps again. I think I think everything's kind of working itself out. As you can see, temperatures in Prince George not quite like they are at Kamloops at 32 on Monday afternoon, but coming into hot weather. Still on Tuesday, southern BC staying hot. Kelowna at 34. Hot weather, Alberta side, hot, really bad news, I think, for fire. And look at this, we're still hot next week in southern BC. It feels like every day temperatures are getting, in some cases, these are normal to places like Kelowna. 27 is very normal. And there next week they got a trough coming through of some sort or a low pressure developing again. But we're looking at it, prolonged warm spell, and I think it will overachieve what we just saw in there. I think Mark's probably right. That's probably going to be hotter than what ECMWF is saying right now. We're a couple days out, and BC is going to get warmer. We're going to see an uptick in fire activity because of it. I will be talking about all that stuff here on the channel more and more. For now, hit like, share, subscribe. Please be part of what we're doing. Of course, join the podcast tomorrow night with us if you would, right here on the channel, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll have details on all this. Thanks to all the new viewers who've come in the last couple days. I'll do my best to keep reporting for you the details as I see them. Okay, from the Caribou Mountains, Joey Only signing off.